This meeting is now called to order Monday, July 12th, 2021. Mayor, would you please do the salute to the flag for us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Kraus, please read the statement of public notice.
Take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with NJSA 10:4-10 as follows. A notice of the meeting was prominently posted on the bulletin board at the municipal building located at 225 Main Street, Little Falls, New Jersey on June 30th, 2021. A copy of the notice was faxed to the North Jersey Herald and News and the Record on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk on said date. This meeting is being conducted under the circumstances surrounding the COVID-19 health situation. No public will be allowed to attend the meeting in person. A link and a telephone number to join the meeting can be accessed on the Township website at www.lfnj.com. Electronic provisions have been established for the public to participate during the public comment portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Mrs. Kraus. At this time, please call the roll.
Councilmember Havletts.
Present.
Councilmember Kawadi.
Present.
Councilmember Sieber.
Present.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Present. Council President, can we tell everybody that's not speaking to mute because there's an echo coming from that 812 number?
Okay. For those joining, I'm sorry, Mrs. Kraus, to interrupt you. But,
That's okay.
you know what? Finish calling the roll and then I'll address that. Go ahead.
Okay, Council President Scoba.
Present. For those attending this meeting, please mute until you're ready to speak so we don't get feedback. Thank you for that cooperation. Can I have a motion to open for public matters?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Vanchery, second.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kawadi. Mrs. Kraus, I'm sorry, all those in favor of opening for general matters, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed to that motion signify by saying nay. Mrs. Kraus, please read the statement for general matters.
Members of the public who desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the council president will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Please leave your name and address for the record. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you, Mrs. Kraus. For those attending our meeting this evening, the reason why we opened up at 6 o'clock, there was a special situation that the Councilor Wenzel asked that he has to attend another meeting. We don't hardly ever do this, but under the circumstances, that's why we moved the meeting to 6 o'clock out of professional courtesy. So the floor is open.
Mr. Fernandez would like to speak.
Mr. Fernandez, can you hear us? Mr. Fernandez, can you hear us?
He's on mute. He's got to unmute.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Mr. Fernandez, good evening. The floor is open.
Louis Fernandez, Harrison Street. I have, this is general matters, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. The first one regarding what I had emailed the mayor the other day about certain individual on Harrison Street among one of the locations. The other one was Patterson Avenue, about having a trailer on his driveway, which is, according to the township, sort of illegal. He responded back to me saying that a summon had been issued, that he had 10 days, I'm sorry, to remove the trailer from the premises. After that, a summon will be issued, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Mayor. Has the summon been issued? Number one, can you tell us the amount? Number two.
Mr. Fernandez, do you have other questions you would like to ask? And we'll do them in one shot.
Okay, the other one is regarding, I just received an email, I guess it was over the weekend, regarding the Stevens Avenue project, in which the Township of Little Falls did an application through the New Jersey Department of Transportation. And the purpose of the application is to receive money, naturally, for the to enhance pedestrian safety, sidewalks, crossroads, intersections, et cetera, et cetera. And one thing that, I mean, is very nice, don't get me wrong, and I do not wish that the application is denied or anything like that. But I'm wondering, has an application ever been filed with anybody regarding Jackson Park? Because we don't have sidewalks, we don't have crossroads, we don't have intersection, nothing. All we have is our kids walking on the street. So, I mean, it's nice that other parts of town have sidewalks and everything, but aren't we entitled to a sidewalk as well?
Okay, Mr. Fernandez, were those, are any other questions or?
Now,
Okay,
General
Mayor,
Harris,
Mayor, you would like to respond to apparently Mr. Fernandez sent you an email regarding a trailer that I guess you responded back to Mr. Fernandez. Would you like to clear up and he would like to know if there's actually an economic value attached to this warning or summons?
Sure. As I indicated to Mr. Fernandez, a notice of violation was issued to the individuals. The requisite 10 days had passed. Because the issue was not rectified, a summons was issued and a court appearance is required. So there is no amount at this time until the court appearance is concluded, at which time the fines will be assessed. So that was number one. On number two, the Stevens Avenue project. This is a DOT Safe Streets to Transit application that we applied for. I will tell you the town has been unsuccessful the past couple of years on the Safe Streets to Transit applications. We have been successful in our DOT streetscape improvements, but not in our Safe Streets to Transit. So that is that application there. And as far as an application ever being filed for Jackson Park, Mr. Fernandez may recall that 3 years ago, an application to include sidewalks on Donato Drive was brought before the residents of Donato Drive, and they were up in arms about a sidewalk being installed on their front lawns, which would allow people to walk that much closer to the homes and view inside their windows. Ever since that application, and that was a similar DOT grant, we have, and I was very clear that the future DOT applications were going to focus on streetscape improvements in the downtown. That is where we have been focusing all of our DOT, or at least the last 3 years worth of DOT grants. We have been successful in obtaining 3 separate grants so far, and hopefully we'll continue to obtain successful grants for the rejuvenation of the downtown.
Thank you, Mayor, for the questions that you answered.
I have.
Hold on one second, Mr. Kusha, before I'll go back to you. Mr. Kuchar, are there anyone else that has any other questions?
There are no other hands raised, sir.
Mr. Fernandez, go ahead.
Yeah, in response to Mr. Damiano,
Yes.
and I even emailed to you that it's always the same individual that commits these violations. And I mentioned a couple of them that had occurred over the past over the past 2 years or so. And in fact, one of them, if I recall, which I did not mention to you, was when the application for, he went in front of the judge. I still have the tape with the recording from the judge, and how things got twisted around. He was fined for not soliciting a permit for a bathroom renovation on the attic, when the fact is that there was never any bathroom in the attic, according to the tenant that was there until he bought the house, and according to Joe, what was his last name? The previous building administrator, Joe McCombs. There was never a bathroom there, so it was never a renovation. He got away with, I think it was $236 fine. And like I said, it's always the same individual that gets away with murder. I'd rather pay $236 and, keep postponing the inevitable for 6, 7 years. Have an illegal attic for 6, 7 years, and at the end pay $236 and, we're okay. Is there anything that legally can be done to?
He was also required to remove the illegal attic.
Oh, he was. All right. I wasn't aware of that, and you never mentioned that to me. But even though the $236, it seems peanuts.
Mr. Fernandez, that's that's the way that's the court find what they saw fit. We don't.
I understand,
you know.
I understand, but like the mayor just said, he was required to remove
Yes.
the attic, which means that it was never legal.
Mhm.
$136 for a bathroom that was never an apartment, that was never legal. In the meantime, he had been collecting rents for years. To me, it doesn't add up. I mean,
Mr. Fernandez, this will be my last comment in this regard. Your personal vendettas against
it's
individuals
not
in
a
the
personal
municipality
vendetta. Mr.
doesn't
Mr.
necessarily warrant higher fines being sanctioned against them by the judicial system. The issue was adjudicated by the court without any involvement from anyone on this call tonight. That was the resolution of that matter. Again, if you have additional concerns with it, again, I think they're personal concerns, but the issue has been adjudicated, and it's not for myself or this council to make any determination in that regard.
Yeah, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's not a personal vendetta. It's just the same individual getting away with murder time after time after time after time. And people get fed up. And I'm one of those, period.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Fernandez? For now?
No.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you
thank
for
you.
joining us this evening. Mr. Akushi, are there any other questions?
There are no other hands raised.
Okay, seeing no other hands raised, can I have a motion to close for the public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Quaddi, second by Councilmember Hablitz. All those in favor of closing to public comment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed to that motion signify by saying nay. Thank you. At this time, Mayor, would you please take items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Absolutely, Council President. Before I get into the actual agenda this evening, as a very brief report, I just want to remind everyone in Little Falls, hopefully the weather will cooperate with us this week, but Thursdays are the concerts in the park. Sundays are our farmers markets. I hope to see everybody at all of those events. And this Saturday, and I'm sure there'll be some more discussion on it at a future point in the meeting, is our first annual Water Day. And I look forward to seeing everybody at all of these exciting events that we have in town. That said, as far as the agenda items to be discussed this evening, I'm going to do numbers 1 and 2 sort of as a combination item because the township received a grant as to purchase body-worn cameras for our police officers. And item number 2 is the resolution that allows us to insert the almost $61,200, I believe it was. It was $61,200 was the grant to purchase 30 cameras for the Little Falls Police Department. And we're going to include that number in the budget for this annual year so that we can appropriate those funds accordingly. Item number 2 is more of an administrative item than anything. So I'm very pleased that we were provided this grant and it essentially allowed the township to acquire 30 body-worn cameras for our police officers at no out-of-pocket cost or no hit to the taxpayers of Little Falls directly in that regard. So that's items numbers 1 and 2. Are there any questions on those, Council President?
Does the council have any questions? Mayor?
All right, item number 3 is the introduction of Ordinance 1420, establishing Chapter 33, the cannabis regulations. This is, again, there's going to be several more administrative types of ordinances that need to be introduced and passed by this council to conform with all of the state's requirements. Some of them will eventually be as simple as allowing us to actually collect any fees that may be associated with cannabis in the future. This particular one is, again, cannabis regulations that allow us to conform with what the council has put forward in its prior introduction of ordinances. There was 1413 and 1414 or 1415 with regard to cannabis. So that is item number 3. Is there anything else that I can answer in that regard, Council President?
Any questions regarding item number 3 regarding the cannabis? Council, is there anything you want to add to that item number 3?
Council President, this is in line with the recently passed statutes by the state legislature and signed by Governor Murphy that allows the township to have this option. We have, as the council is well aware, there are already 2 ordinances pending that are zoning ordinances relative to the same issue. And this is part and parcel of it that gives us some minor degree of authority that we have to not regulate cannabis per se, but to have an idea of who is applying and who is in the area, and also be able to collect fees off of that.
Thank you for your explanation. Mayor, number 4 or 5?
Sure thing, Council President. Items number 4 and 5. Item number 4 is the introduction of ordinance 1421, amending chapter 182, retail food establishments and vending machines. This is purely administrative, and I say that because we are actually removing several words from ordinance 1421 because they are actually duplicated in our fee ordinance currently. And rather than have it in 2 locations in the event we ever want to amend in the future, we are simply doing this again for administrative purposes only. There will be absolutely no change with regards to the language. The fee ordinance is not changing with respect to what the costs are associated with the farmers market, which is what the removal of the language is in ordinance 1421. Any questions on 1421, Council President?
Any from the council? Mayor, number 5?
All right, and item number 5 is the introduction of ordinance 1422, amending chapter 71 fees. As far as what we're removing in 1421, that is not being modified in chapter 71 fees or ordinance 1422. There's actually something different that is being modified in ordinance 1422, and it has to do with our 5K run and walk in the upcoming years. I'm actually going to turn this one over very briefly to Councilwoman Sieber, who has some more information about what will be happening in this year's upcoming 5K and walk. So I'm going to turn it over to her to briefly explain what is being amended and changed in our fee ordinance, and it's because we're going to be adding some events. So, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Mayor. Sure, just briefly, happy to bring back the Run Little Falls 5K this year after a pause last year due to the pandemic. So we are just updating the fees, early registration fee of $30, and then 10 days before the event, $35 for sign up. I'm also pleased to announce that we're going to be adding what we call an all abilities 1 miler, which will take place at the track. And we'll be reaching out to all community people of all abilities, all ages, that perhaps are not looking to run 3 miles, but perhaps would like to do 1 mile around the track. So keeping it really family friendly oriented, as well as all abilities, all ages for anybody in the community area. And that will just be a $10 entrance fee. So that is something else that we're adding to the ordinance. And then in addition, we're just adding another tier for sponsorship, a championship tier of $1,000 or more if anybody wants to sponsor. But again, keeping it very consumer friendly out there for any local businesses. Our sponsorships start at $50. So keeping it really accessible for all. That's it. Thank you.
Mayor, anything else?
That's all that I have this evening, Council President, on the items for discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. Mrs. Kraus, can you read the resolutions A and B, please?
Sure. Resolution A is resolution authorizing participation in a state grant program with New Jersey Division of Law and Public Safety for body worn camera grant. And resolution B is resolution authorizing the insertion into the 2021 municipal budget of a special item of revenue and appropriation, each titled New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, State Fiscal Year 21 Body Worn Camera Grant in the amount of $61,140.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve resolutions A through C?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Quaddy, second by Councilmember Vanchery. Mrs. Kraus, please call the roll on resolutions A through C.
Councilmember Hablitz,
yes,
Councilmember Kawadi,
yes,
Councilmember Sieber,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, at this time, please read ordinance 1413.
Second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 1413, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to rescind Chapter 240-1, publication of delinquent taxpayer lists of the Code of the Township of Little Falls.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to open to public hearing on 1413?
so
so
moved,
moved,
Moved by Councilmember Quaddy, second by Councilmember Hablitz. All those in favor of open to the public for 1413 signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed to that motion signify by saying nay. The motion carries. So the floor is now open for 1413. Mr. Kusia, is there anyone like to speak on 1413? Mr. Kusia, does anyone want to speak on 1413?
There are no hands raised, sir.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing on 1413?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Kawadi,
Second.
second by Councilmember Hablitz. All those in favor and close to the public on 1413 signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed to that motion signify by saying nay. The motion carries. Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1413?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Kraus, please call the roll to adopt ordinance 1413.
Councilmember Havelitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Kawadi,
Yes.
Councilmember Seaver,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scova.
Yes, I apologize for that background disturbance in the office here. If I knew how to shut that off, I'd gladly shut that off, but I'd probably mess up the entire household, so we'll let it go. Mrs. Kraus, read ordinance 1414.
Second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 1414, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending the Little Falls Fire Division in the Code of the Township of Little Falls, Code Section 3-7.8.1, entitled Emergency Medical Service, and creating the Division of Emergency Medical Service.
I have a motion to open up to the public for 1414.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Vanchery,
Second.
Second.
second by Councilmember Kawadi. All those in favor of opening to the public for 1414 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed to the motion signify by saying nay. The motion carries and the floor is open for 1414. Mr. Kusia, is there anyone like to speak for 1414?
There are no hands raised for.
Sorry, Mr. Fernandez.
Excuse me,
And
Mr.
one.
Fernandez.
Mr. Fernandez, the floor is open. Mr. Fernandez, can you hear me?
Yeah, I have to unmute it.
Yeah, okay, no problem. I appreciate you
Um,
muting.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, can you elaborate on that ordinance 1414 a little bit? Because there are a few things that I'm not, I mean, even though I'm in favor of it, I'm not, the whole enchilada looks a little suspicious. So I was wondering if you can elaborate a little bit on the ordinance. For example, he says that one of the paragraphs says that the EMS program coordinator will be compensated at a yearly rate established by the mayor. Another paragraph says the medical director shall be appointed by the mayor. My concern is EMS your expertise? How do you know what candidate is the best candidate to head the division of EMS? How do you know his salary? As far as I'm concerned, I thought you were an attorney and not an EMS director, or you know, you are not related to the medical field. So I will be happier, let's put it that way, and more at ease if I guess a group of people that know about responding, that know about medicine, that know a little bit about, you know, ambulances, whatever, pick the best candidate. Not necessarily, you know,
Mr. Fernandez, I think we got the gist of your question and I understand where you're going. Mayor, would you like to respond to Mr. Fernandez?
Sure. I am certainly not an EMT myself, nor am I an EMS expert in any fashion. That's why I appoint an EMS director to run the program. It is based upon resumes. It is based upon information that I receive. It is based upon their knowledge of that field that I rely upon in order for this program to be successful. So again, I'm not an expert. That's why I appoint someone to handle that position. Much like I do not myself run the DPW on a day-to-day basis, much like I do not myself run the police department on a day-to-day basis. But the same question can be asked. How am I able to pick the chief of police? How am I able to choose the DPW director? It is one and the same. And I do that based upon resumes and people's histories and interviews and the information that they are able to bring to the table and who I believe will fit that position best.
but my question is, are you going to be doing the interviewing yourself or just by the resume, you know, people sending the resume? And because the resume, I mean, I've done it a couple of times. I put more things that, you know, I was qualified for. So the resume can take anything you.
Mr. Fernandez, to answer your question, I prefer to know people on an individual level and have some level of familiarity with them that I've met once or twice before prior to hiring anyone.
And the salary?
The salary is a salary that I get to set annually. It is a salary that has been set, and the new current EMS director is receiving, I believe, $14,000 less than the prior EMS director at a savings to the township.
And he's going to be working full-time? Is this
No, it is not a full-time position. That is one of the beauties of the EMS program. Nobody inside the EMS program is a full-time employee, nor do any of them need medical benefits or any of those sorts of things.
And we still have coverage at night, correct, by the volunteers? It wasn't that?
No, they are not volunteers. Nobody is a volunteer within our EMT program anymore. Everybody is everything. Everybody is a paid position.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, can I have a motion to close to the public?
You have
So
10 days
moved.
to correct that or you'll
So
get
moved.
fined.
Excuse me.
0249. Please leave a message after the tone. Thank you.
Okay, I think I got, I'm sorry. Can I have a motion to close to the public?
So moved.
So
Second.
move, I'm sorry. Moved by Councilmember Vanchery, second by
Kawadi.
A second.
Mr. Councilman Kawadi. All those in favor of closing the public signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. Okay, let's move on. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 1414?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Kawadi, second.
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 Second by Councilmember Hablitz. Mrs. Kraus, call the roll to adopt 1414.
Councilmember Havelitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Kawadi,
Yes.
Councilmember Seaver,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, please read ordinance 1420.
Introduction of ordinance number 1420, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to establish Chapter 33 Cannabis Regulation of the Code of the Township of Little Falls with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for August 9th, 2021.
Can I have a motion to introduce 1420?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Hablitz, second by Councilmember Kawadi. All those, Mrs. Kraus, call the roll to introduce 1420.
Councilmember Havelitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Kawadi,
Yes.
Councilmember Seaver,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, just read the 1420, please.
The same one or the next
Yes,
one?
just read it again, please.
Sure. Introduction of ordinance number 1420, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to establish Chapter 33 Cannabis Regulation of the Code of the Township of Little Falls with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for August 9th, 2021.
Thank you. Mrs. Kraus, read ordinance 1421.
Introduction of ordinance number 1421, an ordinance entitled, ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code, Chapter 182, Retail Food Establishments and Vending Machines, with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for August 9th, 2021.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to introduce 1421?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Moved by Councilmember Quaddy, second by Councilmember Hablitz. All those in favor of, I'm sorry, we have to call the roll to introduce 1421. Ms. Kraus, call the roll.
Councilmember Havelitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Kawadi,
Yes.
Councilmember Seaver,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes, at this time, Mrs. Kraus, read ordinance 1422.
Introduction of ordinance number 1422, an ordinance entitled, ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code, Chapter 71 Fees, with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for July 26, 2021.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and to introduce 1422?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Hablitz, second.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Quaddy. Mrs. Kraus, call the roll to introduce 1422.
Councilmember Havelitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Kawadi,
Yes.
Councilmember Seaver,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Councilmember Quaddy, since we're all talking about this great water park or fight or The floor is yours.
Water Fun Fest. Thank you,
Okay, there
Council.
you go.
So yes, this is a big week in Little Falls. Little Falls Business Association is sponsoring Little Falls Week. It started off tonight, right now, actually. Hopefully the weather is cooperating with the library doing a story time. Tomorrow night is the block party. Want to invite everybody to Patterson Ave from 6 to 8:30 p.m. to come out, enjoy some fun. My understanding is there's going to be a pie eating contest or two. And so we're looking forward to that. That'll be from 6:30 to 8:30. It effectively takes place at the corner of Main and Patterson Ave. As the week goes on, we have, of course, the concerts in the park, like the mayor mentioned earlier. On Friday night, we're just asking everybody to patronize the local restaurants. They could use your support always, but especially in a post-COVID era. And so we're just going to ask people in Little Falls to eat out in Little Falls or get takeout from a restaurant in Little Falls. And then on Saturday, the week culminates on Sunday, it culminates with the farmer's market, of course. On Saturday, the festivities move to the Sports and Recreation Complex, where we will have the Water Fun Fest. We're going to have a couple of water slides. I understand there's a slip and slide coming and a dunk tank. And then that event will end with a giant water gun fight. Please bring your own water guns, super soakers or classic water guns, whatever your choice. Come on down. It's just going to be a fun day. It's supposed to be about 95 degrees on Sunday. And so it's going to be a great time. It's happening at the Sports and Recreation Complex on Patterson Ave. If you don't know where that is, it's adjacent to the Jackson Park area of town. And so we're just hoping that everybody comes out and has a great time. That's it for me.
Thank you, Councilmember Quaddy, for that fine report. Councilmember Hablitz.
Thank you, Council President. So I just wanted to update everyone on the farmers market. Last Sunday, which was the 4th of July, we had a great farmers market. We had our alpaca day back at the farmers market, which is always a hit. The families, the residents just love it. We had a really busy market. It coincided with the PBA's 4th of July street fair. So we had an overflow of both the people from the market going to the street fair, and the people from the street fair coming to the market. It was just a great day. Everyone always enjoys the alpacas. So it was wonderful. We were really happy. This Sunday, we had our local Mark Hewick do an acoustic guitar, live music at the market. And also it was very well received. People are just having an overall good time at the market. We have a lot of great vendors. So if you haven't been down to the market, please do so. We're running through November 7th. As Councilman Kawadi said, this week is Little Falls Week, and tonight the library is scheduled to have a story time on the lawn. I just was informed that it's actually being moved inside tonight at 6:30. So it's just about starting now. So hopefully they will have a successful evening. And there's so many things going on at the library. If you're not a member, please, go get a library card. They are at the farmers market very often signing people up for library cards. They have a lot of things going on this summer that you can find on their website. But some of the things are they have an adult summer reading. They have a coloring masterpieces. They have a guess the snapshot of Little Falls, send in a picture of your pet caught reading. I mean, they just have fun things all the time. They're always coming up with creative events. So please stop by the library, go on their website, see what's going on. That's all.
Thank you for that fine report. So Councilmember Sieber, you want to get everybody in shape with your 5K run? The floor is yours.
I already did mention about the 5K, so hopefully we'll be starting to do collections for sponsorships, obviously once we pass everything that's appropriate, and also start signups probably just within the next month or so. And that will be done on runsignup.com. And so be on the lookout for social media on it, as well as flyers and things like that. That's it.
I had a friend of mine who won the 65 or seniors. Is there going to be prizes given out again for those that win in certain categories?
We're looking to give out prizes as we did last time. And I think we did age category last time. So you have different winners in each age category. And then in addition to that, with the new event, the 1 miler, we're looking to give out finisher medals. So everybody who signs up for the 1 miler would get a finish medal.
And we're going to have the posters of Go ahead.
It's
I'm
great for
sorry.
no, that's okay. It's great for senior citizens too,
Right.
just,
And we'll have the posters of the mayor again up, I gather.
of course.
Of course. That's always encouraging. The floor, Council Member Van Cherry, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Council President. Just a few things on my end. This past Friday, we actually had Little Falls Night at Yogi Berra Stadium during the New Jersey Jackals game. It was nice to see everyone from town come out, even have to give much kudos to everyone for braving the weather, because about 3 minutes before the first pitch was scheduled, the tarp went on the field, and 90 minutes later, there we were waiting for things to start. But it was a nice night, and we're looking forward to doing it again, of course, next year, and we'll probably have it in June, just because it's easier when most of the players and coaches are still in the area before vacations. Unfortunately, with COVID this year, the Jackal schedule, everything got pushed back a month, so we didn't get to do our normal June timeframe. But we're looking forward to it, and just want to thank everyone that was involved, and as well as some of our local residents who participated in the singing of the national anthem, as well as the first pitch. A couple other things too that I wanted
I'm
to
sorry,
bring
Councilman Van Cherry, can you talk about who threw out the first pitch?
Sure. So we had two residents. We had Brady and his sister Kelsey Smith throughout the first pitch, and the national anthem was sung by Natalia Marecki. Natalia's performed previously for us at the Memorial Day concert, and she did it again this past Friday, and you'll see her for the 9/11 ceremony as well in a few months.
Anything else?
Yeah, just wanted to mention that at some point in the coming months, we are going to coordinate with the rec and travel sports teams in town to recognize several of the teams that won during the spring baseball and softball season. Just want to mention that there was one rec baseball team, 3rd and 4th grade. There were 3 rec softball teams. The 2 5th and 6th grade teams ended up being co-champs, and one of the 7th and 8th grade teams also won. And then just from a travel softball standpoint, there were 3 spring championships. The both 10U Lady Hornets, the white and green team, as well as the 12U Lady Hornets. I spoke to the travel as well as rec commissioners earlier today, and we're just trying to figure out the days. It's more likely that these will take place at the rec center versus having everyone try to come in to the chambers, knowing there's some restrictions, and Zoom is not the easiest way to have several teams. So once I have more information, we'll set some dates together, but they will be separate. The travel teams will have their own recognition ceremony, and then we'll do it for the rec teams as well. And then just lastly, just want to thank the Little Falls PBA 346. Earlier today, I participated in their 4th annual scholarship golf outing over here in Totowa at the county course. It was a great time, and just want to thank the entire PBA for putting on a great event. It was hot. I will say I hit some good balls and I hit some bad balls. But it was a good time overall. So just want to thank the PBA for a nice outing today. That's it.
Thank you, Councilman. Very good report. I just want to report, hopefully I don't mess up these dates. I see Phyllis Dillon is on the call here with us this evening. July 21st, we're having Mr. Dacey perform at the Civic Center. There's 20 already signed up. That's going to take from 1 to 3. He's a solo player. He's been playing for about 50 years or so. So we look forward to being entertained by him from 1 to 3 coming the 21st. Also on August the 21st, we're back to the seniors having our barbecue down at the Legion. So we're looking forward to that great event as well. We'll move on to agenda items. Can I have a motion to open the public for agenda items?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Vanchery, second by Councilmember Hablitz. All those in favor of opening to the public to agenda items signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed to that motion signify by saying nay. The motion carries. Mrs. Kraus, can you please read the statement?
Members of the public who desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the council president will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Please give your name and address for the record. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you for doing that, Mrs. Kraus. The floor is now open. Mr. Kusia,
Mr. Karatkin would like to speak.
Mr. Karakin, name and address. The floor is open.
Sure, Ani Karatkin, 181 Long Hill Road. So I had some problems with my audio. Could you
We
I
hear you,
believe-
sir.
Well, excuse me?
We hear you very loud and clear.
Okay, but I had trouble hearing before, so that's okay, but thank you. You mentioned ordinance number 1422. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Well, I would appreciate that if when the meeting ends, if someone can upgrade the agenda because it's not listed on the agenda on the town website. So
Okay.
I'd also like to see a copy of what ordinance 1421 was, but it's not on the current agenda as posted on the town website.
Okay, are you referring to 1421 or 1422?
22, I'm sorry, 1422.
1422. Well, I apologize if it wasn't listed on the website. However, Mrs. Kraus, if you would call her tomorrow, she'll definitely get you a copy of that ordinance. That's not
It
an
would be
issue.
my pleasure, and I thank you for your assistance.
Anything else, sir?
No,
Okay, thank you for joining us this evening. Mr. Kusha, is Mr. Fernandez like to speak?
There are no other hands raised, sir.
Mr. Fernandez? No? Yes, go
Mr.
ahead.
Fernandez just decided.
Mr. Fernandez, can you hear us? You're on mute, sir. Mr. Fernandez, you're on mute. I'm sorry, you're on mute. Okay, can you, yes, I can hear, we can hear you now.
I just want to clarify one thing.
Sure.
The next meeting, the 26th, it will be a town hall and anybody can attend physically in person, correct?
That's correct, sir. We'll be
That's all
back
I
at,
know.
we'll be back at Town Hall on the 26th.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Council
Anyone else,
President,
Mr.
just-
Kusha? Yes, Mayor?
There'll be a 25-person member of the public limit, and everybody must wear masks in the building at all times, whether vaccinated or not.
Anyone else, Mr. Kusha? Mr. Kusha, you're on mute. Mr.
No, the mayor
Kusha?
touched on what I wanted to touch on. Thank you.
Okay, so no one else wants to speak?
Mr. Scoba, I have my hand raised.
Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr.
sorry,
Karakin
Mr.
is asking to speak again.
I apologize, Mr. Crockett. The
That's-
floor is
that's
yours,
fine.
sir.
Can Mayor Damiano clarify that the meeting that you're referring to will be both in person and Zoomed? It will be a hybrid model, am I correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Fernandez, I think, would like to speak again.
Leaving you off.
No, he didn't put his hand down. He said-
Okay, no other hands, sir.
Council
There are no
President,
other
you're on
hands
mute.
raised,
You're on
Council President.
You're on mute, Council President. You're on mute. You're on mute. I don't think he's having some issues. Looks like it. There he goes.
Nope,
No, hit it again, Anthony. Try it again. No. Okay, he's having some
Let's
issues.
try it now.
Oh, there you
There
go.
it is.
He's got it.
I
goes.
apologize. I'm certainly looking forward. All right, let's try this. Can I have a motion to close the public comment?
So moved.
Moved by,
Council President, Mrs. Dillon would like to speak.
okay. Mrs. Dillon, how are you? The floor is open. Mrs. Dillon, you're on mute.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention to Council President, I believe our barbecue is August 14th, is it not?
Okay, I guess we changed that date. Thank you.
Okay,
Yep,
thanks.
thank you for the clarification. Okay. Can we close now to the, who made the motion to close the public comment? Councilmember Vanchery made a motion to close the public comment. Who seconded?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kawadi. All those in favor of closing the public comment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. I just want to reiterate one more time before we adjourn that the next meeting will be at the council chambers. As the mayor said, 25-person capacity limit. You must wear a mask while you're attending, but we will be back at the dais, and I'm certainly looking forward to that, as well as all the council members to do that. I mean, Zoom does have its place, but as you can see, the challenges that it presents. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Moved by Councilmember Kawadi, second by Councilmember Vanchery. All those in favor of adjourning this meeting signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying nay. This meeting is now closed. Thank you, everyone.